10 years old, I went to my parents and I asked them if I could learn some kind of an instrument because I wanted to play music. And well, they mentioned, what would you like to play and all that. So I still had this memory of when I was back in Italy, my grandfather playing and all that there. So I said, I'd like to play the accordion. So they said, okay. What we did, went and bought one, and I started taking some music lessons. After a couple of years, my music teacher asked me if I would like to teach. So I started teaching also at the school, the Do Re Mi school in Verdun. A couple of years later, one of the guitar player, he used to have a band, and apparently his accordionist quit, and he asked me if I wanted to play, take over in his band. So I decided to go, and what we did, we used to play nightclubs, and we used to play weddings, we used to play all kinds of events. My parents had bought a duplex with my uncle, an NDG, and we used to live upstairs, and they lived downstairs. My aunt, well, of course, whenever there was a party and all that, I used to take up the accordion after lunch or supper or whatever it is, and I used to play and used to dance, and I guess I was the entertainment for them, so we used to have a lot of fun. And my aunt always wanted her son to learn the accordion, and this was my cousin Benny. And he didn't want to hear nothing about it. He just wasn't interested at all there. So she kept on bugging me, and finally one day I went to Ben and said, listen, come up, I'm going to show you some songs and all that there. Not this practicing the Do Re Mi and all that there, just show you a few little songs. And I started doing that, and finally I got him interested somehow.
Well, I wanted to go to the Royal Academy of Music in London. My goal was not to learn how to play, but I wanted to go there so I could meet Led Zeppelin and be one of the guys on the roadies, so I can go out on the road with Led Zeppelin.
Okay.
That was I wanted London in the 60s. That was where all the music, the Beatles, the Who, all those great bands. That's where I wanted to go, and I figured, let me go to a school there. That way my parents will send me to school. Then when I found out you had to be good and how much it costs, then when I came out here, I realized how much of all those applications, like nobody pays attention to that. It's all about knowing people. But the good thing about going to Berkeley, I made contacts. I made a contact with somebody who was working at A&M, and he told me to come up and interview for a job. So I went to interview, and the guy, as it happened, who was running the studio for Herb Alpert was from Montreal. And he said, anybody that comes from Montreal with a name like Basilio must be good, so you're hired. And starting pay $75 a week before taxes.
Wow.
I was a runner, a gopher for 6 months. Training and having to prove myself that I was worthy to be in a studio. Little by little, you work your way up. There was a hierarchy back then, which now people go to school and they come out, and it's basically you learn on your own. You set up your living room, your studio, whether it's cameras or whatever, and you have to learn on your own. Yeah. In '80s, I worked at A&M for 6 years. Then I, just by luck, happened to start doing a lot of Latin music in '83 and '84 when nobody else wanted to do it, because we were doing Carpenters, the Supertramp, whatever, and then all these artists from Mexico would come, and nobody wanted to record them. I said,
I'll do it.
Yeah. So in '86, I went independent. For 2 years, I was doing that. And I got fed up, got a job offer in Cincinnati. We moved to Cincinnati for 8 months. And then I said, no, I don't think so. I want to go back. I miss all the great musicians and the good studios. So I came back here.
I heard you worked with quite a few of the big artists there. I name some. I know Santana was one, and
Ricky Martin. Oh man.
You worked also on the We Are the World. I think it was Michael Jackson.
We Are the World. They're also the rock and roll one, because they got jealous. They weren't invited. So Hearing Aid, it was called. That was all the heavy metal guys. Ronnie James Dio and whoever all those rock guys are. We did that. Yeah, talk to me about your Grammys. You're up to 14, and you got 3 nominations this week there, or 3 more.
Yeah.
It's just work. It's
just work.
It's just work. You know, you work and whatever you hope you do a good job.
Good job.
Yeah. I was just lucky to be working with some artists that were high profile, so that helps. Everybody's on their own.
Yeah.
It's not, you can't go like we in the old days where you go to a studio and learn your trade and work with engineers that are great and learn what they do and find out. Now it's, you're on your own. You basically have to do whatever. It's almost like being an actor or being a guitar player. When you come out, there's nowhere to go. You're on your own and you have to make your own work. You have to make your own connections and then hopefully get a hit or something and start building clientele.
From there? Okay.
No, it's like, you know, when actors come out, they have to go bang on doors and try and get a job here, get a job there, and maybe if one thing they do is successful, then somebody sees that, and the next thing, you know, they do something more and more and more. But these days, kids will do anything, you know, before, and they're so into computers that you lose what, on the music side anyway, what, you know, what's really important.
Right.
Is like anything else. It's like a bad actor, you know, who's
Right.
reading a script, just reading the book, then they don't really learn their craft.
And
you have to be persistent. You have to, yeah. If you're talented, it'll come out. But 50% is luck, 50% is talent.
That's true.
And if you know, you have to be. If somebody says you suck, you know, you have to believe in yourself.
First off, generally speaking, expect the unexpected, and at the same time, don't expect anything.
Don't expect anything, exactly.
I mean, the passion's in the process, so, I mean, if you love what you do, it shouldn't matter. You shouldn't be expecting anything.
Okay.
And in my opinion, the harder I work, the more I'm involved in what I'm doing in writing, I definitely lose the sight of what's going to happen when I'm done with it. I more have fun with the process, and I definitely, in my experience with all the auditioning and all the ups and downs, it's falling upwards. So expecting the unexpected is. But I was also left to my own devices a lot. So a lot of that turned towards doing what my friends did. And a lot of my friends at the time were listening to a lot of music. And when I was a lot younger, it was all about Michael Jackson. It was all about Will Smith, even Criss Cross. It was the late 80s for me at the time. So, you know, when I started finding out that I liked music and then my dad was in music, it was kind of a nice correlation. So between the two, I would see the people that he worked with and the guitar players and everything, and I'd really look up to the guitar players that were coming in. I thought it was really cool. They all had long hair, and it was like this really cool thing, and they're always mysterious. I thought they were cooler than the singer, you know. So I started playing guitar, and he helped me definitely. My father was a huge part of playing guitar, absolutely, you know. But as far as just practicing, it was, you know, it was all I did. I just spent, while all my friends were hanging out, I played guitar. I slept with my guitar. That was all I did. And then the more I started writing music on guitar, the more I started getting involved with other instruments. And at this point, you know, you have to be able to play every instrument. And especially for writing music, you have to understand other instruments' perspective if you're going to play with other people.
I don't know, Dean, I guess you must have helped him out a little bit, with some connections, or...
No, he actually did it all on his own. The only thing
own.
I helped him out with, he would hang out at studios, and he always wanted to be a musician. He loved guitar. He loved hanging out. I would sit him on a console, and he would play with faders when I was babysitting him, and he just grew up that way, and he grew up with going to concerts with some of these bands that were popular. We went to see, and we'd go backstage, and he said, this I can do this life.
I spent 10 years auditioning. I can't even count the amount of bands I've played in or singers I've had, you know, months of playing with. Growing up in Hollywood is definitely easy to find people that play music, you know.
That's for sure.
You know, I've pretty much worked in every aspect. I've done touring as a guitar tech. I've done music production as a runner, as just production PA. You know, so I've gotten to see how bands act on the outside and see the people that have to deal with it. definitely have a bunch of projects. The new number 2 we've been writing for the past year, so we have the album working in process. I have other projects as well with other musicians, you know, randomly here and there that I'm doing. I just finished a short film a couple months ago.
Right. Your mom mentioned to me that you wrote all the music for the short film.
I did all the music, and a lot of that was what I learned from new number 2. In February, we released a score for Beautiful Creatures that was on Warner Brothers, and we did everything in London, and it was all at George Harrison's house, so it was a great opportunity. But at the same time, it was a learning lesson in how, you know, to speak musically to describe a scene. So I found a lot of interest in that, and then I jumped into the short film. And I jumped in head first. It was scary, but that's, you know, the only way. The only suggestion is, like I started, find the passion in the process. Don't listen to other people. Don't let other people, you know, they get excited about your work and they start telling you what you need to do, and you lose sight real quick. So it's very important to just continue working and, you know, stay focused. I love writing music, and it's really easy for me to get excited. And the more I get let down, the more I just start working harder.
Cassandra used to come to us, my wife and I, on Sunday lunches at my mother's. She used to come to us and call us over, say, come, I wanna show you something. So we go into the other room, and she says, I wrote a song. And she literally wrote the lyrics, and she would sing this song, make up music and all that, and sing these lyrics. And she was like 5, 6 years old at the time there.
When I was a kid, I started liking music because my parents always used to show me, like, we used to listen to songs and sing on them and dance on them, and we used to have these little parties and, you know, the Christmas parties and everything with my parents. And I used to have a lot of fun singing, so it kind of gave me the idea to be a singer later on. But, you know, I was a kid, so I didn't really think of that. Because I liked singing so much, my parents inscribed me to this program that passed on TV. It was called L'École des Fans. And it was with these kids who liked singing and knew songs. And they'd come up and there would be an artist invited. And the kid would just start singing this song with the artist.
Avec la vieille, ça donne Cassandra qui chante Oh les Champs-Élysées. Oh Champs-Élysées.
Sunday I go to my nana's house, so my grandmother's house, and well, when I was a kid, I used to come up to my grandparents and just tell them, oh, I wrote a song, I want to show it to you, and I used to sing them all the little lyrics and create little songs on them and just have so much fun presenting them to them. And then sometimes I used to sing it in front of everyone, and I was so I wasn't even shy. It's just everything connects together, and in the future I think that I actually have a future in that, in that department, you know, even though it's really hard to get into it. I think if I try my best, and if I just, you know, if I improve and I work 100% at it, I think I can get to my goal to be a singer. It doesn't even have to be in front of big crowds.